Good afternoon, friends. In last lecture I have discussed the introduction about microscope, then types of microscope, and in detail account on light microscope and phase contrast microscope. Today we will see the next point, that is dark field optical microscope. Yes, today we will see the next point, that is dark field microscope. In dark field microscope, it contains what? The objective lens, then stage and condenser lens. Yes, it contains what? The objective lens, stage and condenser lens. The dark field optics are low cost and it is alternative to phase contrast microscopy. Yes, what I am saying, the dark field microscopy or the dark field optics are low cost alternative to phase contrast optics. The contrast and resolution obtained with inexpensive dark field equipment, it may be superior to what you have with student grades phase contrast equipment. Then it is surprising that the few manufacturers and vendors promote the use of dark field microscopy. Yes, what I am saying, keep in mind, it is surprising that what the few manufacturers and vendors are promote the use of dark field optics. Next, the dilute suspension of yeast cell makes a good practice specimen for a dark field microscopy, and it is particularly when the culture with living paramecium. Then we will see the principle of dark field microscopy. First, to view a specimen or to view a object in dark field, an opaque disc is placed. Yes, first, to view a specimen or the object in dark field, the opaque disc is placed underneath the condenser lens so that only light that is scattered by the object on this slide and can reach the eye. Then, instead of coming up through the specimen, the light is reflected by the particles on this slide. I am repeating. First, to view the specimen or the object in dark field microscopy, an opaque disc is placed underneath the condenser lens so that the only light that is scattered by the object on this slide can reach the eye. Then, instead of coming up through the specimen, the light is reflected by particles on this slide. The light is reflected by particles on the slide. Next, everything is visible regardless of color, usually bright white against the dark background. Yes, usually bright white against the dark background. Then pigmented objects are often seen in false color, that is, the reflected light is of color different than the color of the object. Yes, what I am saying, the pigmented objects are often seen in false color, that is, the reflected light is of what color different than the color of object. The better resolution can be obtained using dark field as opposed to bright field microscopy. Then you don't need the sophisticated equipment to get a dark field effect, although the effect is most dramatic when the occulting disc is built into the condenser itself. You do need a higher intensity light since you are seeing only reflected light. Yes, what I am saying, you do need a higher intensity light since you are seeing only reflected light. Then at low magnification, that is up to the 100x, any decent optical instrument can be set up so that light is reflected towards the viewer rather than the passing through the object directly towards the viewer. Yes, I am repeating, the at low magnification, that is up to the 100x, any decent optical instrument can set up so that the light is reflected towards the viewer rather than passing through an object directly towards the viewer. So this is the principle of dark field microscopy. So what are the parts? The objective lens, then stage and condenser lens. Next we will see the working of this microscope. First, to set up the dissecting microscope. First, to set up the dissecting microscope for dark field viewing. To set up the dissecting microscope for dark field viewing, the specimen should be placed over an opening. The specimen should be placed over an opening so that the light reflect only from the surfaces between cover slip and slide and not from the surface beneath of the slide. Yes, keep in mind the two. First, to set up the dissecting microscope for dark field viewing, the specimen should be placed over a opening so that the light reflect only from what? The only from surfaces between cover slip and slide and not from, or the not light is reflected from the surface beneath of slide. Next, you may need to make a stand to hold the slide. Then the surface beneath the opening should be flat black. The turn up in built-in illuminator. Then last, M is a high intensity light source towards the specimen at an angle from the top or side through a glass dish or any glass jar. So this is the working of dark field optical microscope. Next we will see the applications of this microscope. The first application of this microscope, the initial examination of suspension of cell such as yeast, bacteria, small protist or cell and tissue fractions including thick epithelial cells, chloroplast, mitochondria, even blood cells. Yes. It is useful for what? Examination of suspension of cells, for example, yeast, or such as yeast, bacteria, small protist or cells, then tissue fractions including cheek epithelial cells, then chloroplast, mitochondria, even blood cells. Next application, initial survey and observation at low power of pond water sample, hair soil infusion, then purchased protist or metazoan culture. Next, the examination of lightly stained prepared slides, then determination of motility in culture. Next application, that is the determination of motility in culture. So this is all about what? The advantages of this dark field microscopy. Next, that is advantages. First advantage of this microscope, a dark field microscope is ideal for what? Viewing the objects that are unstained, transparent and absorb the little light or the no light. Yes, this dark field, the dark field microscope is ideal for viewing the objects that are unstained, transparent and absorb the little light or the no light. Then next, these specimens often have similar refractive indices. These specimens often have similar refractive indices as their surrounding, making them hard to distinguish with other illumination techniques. Next, you can use the dark field microscopy to study the marine organism. Yes, to studying the marine organism such as algae, plankton, then diatoms, insects, fiber, hairs, yeast and protozoa, as well as some minerals and crystals, then thin polymers and some ceramics. Then next, you can also use the dark field microscopy in research of live bacterium as well as mounted cell and tissues. Yes, you can also use the dark field microscopy for research of or in the research of live bacterium, then as well as mounted cells and the tissues. Next, this microscopy is also useful in the examining external details such as outlines, edges, grain boundaries, and surface defects than the internal structure. Next, we will see the disadvantages. What are the disadvantages of this dark field microscopy? First, the dark field images are prone to degradation, distortion, and inaccuracies. First disadvantage or what is disadvantage? First, the dark field images are prone to degradation, distortion, and inaccuracies. Next, a specimen that is not thin enough or its density differ across the slide, it may appear to have artifacts throughout the images. Then next disadvantage, the preparation and the quality of the slide can grossly affect the contrast and the accuracy of the dark field images. Next disadvantage, you need to take a special care that the slide stage nose and the light source are free from small particles such as dust, as this will appear as a part of the image. Yes, you need a special care should be taken for slide stage nose and light source are free from small particles such as dust, as this will be appear as a part of image. Next, if you need to use oil or water on the condenser, if you need to use oil or water on the condenser or the slide, it is almost impossible to avoid all air bubbles. Next disadvantage is what? If you need to use oil or the water on the condenser or the slide, it is almost impossible to avoid all air bubbles. So this is all about what? Dark field microscopy. The introduction, principle, working, then application of dark field microscopy, then advantages of this and disadvantages of dark field microscopy. So this is all about the dark field microscopy. Next we will see the fluorescent microscopy or the fluorescent microscope. So what are the parts of this microscope? The first detector, then emission filter, excitation filter. This emission filter is also called as what? Barrier filter. Yes, detector, then emission filter, then excitation filter, then mercury lamp, dichroic mirror, then objective, then specimen. It means our object. The detector, emission filter, it is also called as barrier filter, then excitation filter, dichroic mirror, mercury lamp, objective, and specimen. We will see the introduction of this fluorescent microscope. A fluorescent microscope is much the same as a conventional light microscope with added features to enhance its capabilities. Next, the conventional microscope uses a visible light that is 400 to 700 nanometers. The conventional microscope uses the visible light that is 400 to 700 nanometer to illuminate and produce the magnified images of the sample. Yes, this microscope uses what? Visible light that is 400 to 700 in order to illuminate and produce the magnified images of the sample. Next, the fluorescent microscope uses much higher intensity light source which excites a fluorescent species in a sample of interest. Yes, this microscope use much higher intensity light source which excites a fluorescent species of a sample. Then this fluorescent species in turn emits a low energy light of a longer wavelength, and it will produce a magnified images instead of original light source. So this is the introduction. Next, that is, we will see the principle. The fluorescent microscope is often used to image specific features of small specimens such as microbes. First, this microscope is used to image the specific features of small specimens such as microbes, and it is also used to visually enhance 3D features at small scale. Keep in mind, it is also used to visually enhance the 3D features of small scale. The 3D features of small scale. Then this can be accomplished by attaching the fluorescent tag to antibodies. Then it turns attached to targeted features, or by the staining in a less specific manner. Next, when the reflected light and the background fluorescence is filtered in this type of microscopy, when the reflected light and background fluorescence is filtered in this type of microscopy, the targeted part of given sample can be imaged. This gives an investigator the ability to visualize the desired organelles or the unique surface feature of the sample of interest. So this is the principle of this fluorescent microscopy. Next, we will see the working. At first, in most cases, the sample of interest is labeled with a fluorescent substance and known as fluorophore, and then it is illuminated through a lens with a higher energy source. This substance is called as what? That is fluorophore. Next, the illumination light is absorbed by the fluorophores that is attached to the sample now, and it causes them to emit a lower energy wavelength light. Then this fluorescent light can be separated from the surrounding radiation with filter. Yes, this fluorescent light, it can be separated from what? It can be separated from the surrounding radiation with filter designed for that specific wavelength, allowing the viewer to see only that which is fluorescing. Next, the basic task of fluorescence microscope is to let excitation light radiate the specimen and then sort out the much weaker emitted light from the image. Yes, I am repeating. The basic task of what? The basic task of fluorescence microscope is to let the excitation light radiate the specimen and then sort out the much weaker emitted light from the image. Next, first the microscope has filter that only lets through radiation with specific wavelength and that matches your fluorescing material. Then the radiation collides with atom in your specimen and electrons are excited to a higher energy level. When they relax to a lower level, they emit the light. Yes, the radiations collides with atom in your specimen and the electrons are excited to a higher energy level. When they relax to a lower level and they emit the light. Next, they become a detectable, that is visible to your eyes. When to become detectable, the fluorescence emitted from the sample is separated from the much brighter excitation light in a second filter. Then this works because the emitted light is of lower energy and has a longer wavelength than the light that is used for illumination. So this is the working of this microscope. Next we will see the applications. First, it is used for imaging the structural component of small specimens such as cells. then conducting the viability conducting the viability studies on a cell's population. It means whether they are alive or dead. Next, imaging the genetic material within the cell, that is DNA or that is the DNA and RNA. Next, viewing the specific cells within a larger population with techniques such as FISH. So this is all about the fluorescent microscopy. Next we will see the electron microscopy. In electron microscope, what are the types of electron microscopy? First, that is TEM, and second SEM. So what is TEM? That is transmission electron microscopy, and what is SEM? That is scanning electron microscopy. The electron microscope are a scientific instrument that use a beam of energetic to examine the objective on a very fine scale. Yes, electron microscopy is a scientific instrument that use a beam of energetic to examine the object on a very fine scale. Then the electron microscopes use a beam of electron in place of light. Then the object cannot be perceived by your eyes directly. The images which are produced by electron microscope are preserved by CRT or X-ray plate. Then the electron microscopes were developed due to the limitations of light microscope, which are limited by the physics of light. Yes, the electron microscopes were developed due to the limitations of light microscope, which are limited by the physics of light. They required 10,000x plus magnification, which was not possible using current optical microscopes. Then next we will see the component of this microscope. First, electron optical column. It consists of electron source to produce electron, then magnetic lens to demagnify the beam, then magnetic coils in order to control and modify the beam, then aperture to define the beam and prevent electron spray. Next, that is vacuum system, and it consists of what? First, chamber which holds the vacuum and pump to produce vacuum, then valves to control the vacuum and gauzes to monitor the vacuum. Then signals detection and display consist of what? First, detectors which collect the signals, and next the electronics which produce an image from a signal. I am repeating the components of electron microscope. First, there are three basic components. The first, electron optical column, then vacuum system and signal detection. First, the electron optical column. It consists of first electron source to produce electron, then second magnetic lenses to demagnify the beam, then magnetic coils to control and modify the beam, then aperture to define the beam and prevent electron spray. Then next, what I am saying, that is vacuum system. It consists of what? First, chamber which hold the vacuum and pump to produce the vacuum, and next valves to control the vacuum and gauzes to monitor the vacuum. Yes, what is the role of valve? To control the vacuum, and what are the use of gauzes? That is to monitor the vacuum. Next, signal detection. Third, that is signal detection. It consists of detectors which collect the signals, and next electronics which produce an image from a signal. So this is all about the electron microscopy. There are two types of electron microscopy: scanning electron microscopy and transmission electron microscopy. Yes, I will stop here. Next point we will see in next lecture.